Hello, and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our brand new paper collection, Blissful Blossoms. We have this in both a 12x12 and 6x6 size. We're also going to be taking a look at our brand new cardstock. We have 5 brand new colors of cardstock that come individually in packs of 10 and also in a multi-pack where you get 2 of each for a total of 10 sheets, and that pack is called Macaron. We're also going to be introducing 2 brand new washi tapes. We have our grassline washi tape and our pastel vertical rainbow stripes washi tape. They're so beautiful. We also now have foam squares. We have a large size, a small size, and foam strips too, and I love these so much. And then we will also take a look at our flower treat box die. This die is so cool. It has the most amazing shape and a flower on top. So let's go ahead and check everything out. First up, we're going to take a look at our Blissful Blossoms paper collection. This beautiful pattern paper comes in both a 12x12 and a 6x6 size. So let's take a look at these patterns. First up, we have our camellia paper. It's this beautiful pink with a floral on the front and a vine design on the back. Then next up, we have our marigold paper. Again, these beautiful pastel flowers on the front and then a slightly more bold vine pattern on the back. And they're really great for mixing and matching together. Next up, we have our zinnia paper. It's this beautiful soft green. I think it's just so stunning. And then on the back, of course, we have our vines too. And I love all these papers because they mix and match together so beautifully in such a gorgeous pastel rainbow. This is our amaryllis paper. Again, that beautiful print on the front and then the vines on the back in this really pretty blue-green color. And then for our next paper, it's more of a true blue. So you've got the blue, green, and the blue in this collection. And this is our bellflower paper. And again, it's just so gorgeous. And then last but not least, we have our verbena paper, which is this beautiful purple, again with the florals on the front and then the vines on the back. And here you can see a comparison of all of the papers. I love the soft pastels on the A sides and the more bold prints on the B sides because they're so fun to mix and match together. Now we have our 12x12 papers in a collection kit, and you can see that collection kit here. And what's cool about these is you get 2 of each of the papers for a total of 12 papers. But we also have each of these papers in packs of 12. So just the pink paper in a pack of 12, just the green, etc. And that's really great if you're mass producing cards or maybe making invitations and you need a lot of just one design. Now here is the 6x6 pad. This has 36 sheets, so you get 3 of each design, which is really, really awesome. Now we've taken the pattern and we've reduced it by about 50%. And so sometimes I like to use the 6x6 pad and sometimes I like to use the 12x12. It just kind of depends on the look that I'm going for. And here you can see a comparison between those 2 papers. So you can see the difference in the scale, and they both have a different feel and a different look depending on what you're looking for your project. And then here you can see a comparison of the vine pattern and the difference in the scale of the 2 papers. Also, if you are a longtime lawnfawn fan, that vine paper might look familiar to you. It's actually from our very first collection. It was one of the patterns in that, and I'm so glad to bring it back. Now here we are taking a look at our brand new cardstocks. We have 5 new colors. We have a blush color, a peach color, Minty Fresh. We also have Mist and Lavender. These each come in packs of 10, just like this. And then we also have them in a multi-pack where you get 2 of each of the colors in a set called Macaron. So you get 2 sheets of blush, 2 sheets of peach, etc. in that set. Now here is a closer look at the colors. Aren't they so beautiful? This one here is our blush color. Then here we have peach, such a pretty color. I love it. Next up we have Minty Fresh, which is this beautiful light mint. And then we have Mist, which is just a little bit bluer of a color. And then of course we also have Lavender. I wanted to show you a comparison between the brand new colors and some older favorites. So here we have Pencil Eraser and then Ballet Slippers, then the brand new Peach and the brand new Blush. Next up, we have our Algae. In the middle, we have Cilantro, and then the brand new Minty Fresh on the right. And I love having these soft pastel colors in the cardstocks. Then here we have Tide Pool on the left, Mermaid in the middle, and the brand new Mist on the right. And these 3 together, oh my gosh, they're just so pretty. And then I wanted to bring in the Minty Fresh just so you could see a comparison between Mist and Minty Fresh because they're very similar, but you can see the Minty Fresh is a lot more green. I think they look pretty together. And then here we have our purples. So on the left, we have the brand new lavender. Then we have lilac, hyacinth, and sugar plum. And this is a really pretty rainbow of purples too. Next up, we're going to take a look at our brand new washi tapes. This is our vertical pastel rainbow stripes. I love these colors together so much. They're so perfect for spring. I love using them on my envelopes. I also like using them on the inside of my cards and on the outside too. And we're going to have a card at the end of this video that shows a fun way of doing that. And then here is our grass line washi tape. And this is the lawnfawn grass line. And I love that we have it in a washi tape so much now. I love putting this on my envelopes and also on my cards to help make a little grassy scene for my critters. Now we also have some brand new foam squares. So we have them in 3 different styles. We have a small size, a large size, and foam strips too. And in each of these packs you get 2 sheets. So there you can see the large and then the small. And then here I have a comparison so you can see the difference between the two. And then we also have some foam strips, and I love the foam strips so much because they're great for popping up all of our backdrops. They're the perfect size to layer behind those frames, and I just love popping up everything on my cards. Now we're also taking a look at our flower treat box, which of course comes with our box, which you're going to die cut twice. It has some petals, which you'll die cut twice for 6 petals, and then also this detail for the petals too, and you can die cut that once. And those are all the pieces that you need to make a flower treat box. The die creates score lines for you, and we're going to be folding back along those score lines. There's one big horizontal line, and then there are a few vertical ones that we're going to fold along. And then at the bottom, you'll see there's these different tabs. So we're going to fold back there on the small tab, that middle tab, and then the other small tab. And then there's one more tab on that bigger flap there, and we're going to fold back along that too. Now you'll see there's these little kind of diagonal lines. You're just going to kind of bend those back just a little bit, just like that. Just kind of get them moving because that's going to help us build our box later. And now we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So we're going to be folding along that large horizontal line, along the vertical lines, and then we're going to fold back on all of those tabs at the bottom. And then those little vertical lines at the top, we're just going to kind of bend those just slightly, just like that. Now that we have all of those score lines folded, we are going to cut off one of those bottom tabs on just one of the boxes. So that little thin tab at the very bottom, we're just going to take our scissors and trim that off one of these pieces. You're going to leave the other one exactly how it is. Next, we're going to work on the petals for our flower treat box. And so we've got these plain petals here, which you could leave just like that, or you can add this nice decorative detail on them. So we're just adding some liquid glue behind each of the pieces and then layering them on to each individual petal. Next, we're going to attach the petals onto the box. So we're going to add some adhesive to the back of the petal, and you'll see the die creates a little embossed line right there, a little curved line that's going to tell you exactly where to layer your petal onto the box. So we're going to attach that one on there and then work our way down the box, starting to add all 6 of the petals. And the petals are going to be what actually closes the box, which is what's so cute about this box. Now that we have all the petals on, we can start to add our adhesive. We're using 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and we're going to be adding it to all of those bottom tabs there. So on one of them, it's just 2 bottom tabs, and on the other one, it's the 3. And then we're also going to add tape to this rectangular flap that's on the left side of each of the boxes, and we're going to be doing that on both of the boxes. Then once we have that, we can start to peel up the liner paper, and we're going to peel up the liner paper on all of the strips of adhesive. And again, you can see that we've got the strips of adhesive on those little rectangular flaps on the left, and then all of the bottom thin tabs. And on one of them, since we've cut off the thin tab, we only have 2 strips there at the very bottom. Next, we're going to adhere them together, and we're going to start with that rectangular flap. So that is going to layer behind the other piece, and you're going to attach them to create one long piece. This is going to start to form your box. Then we're going to work on the base, and so those little tabs are going to tuck behind that larger tab there. And this is a hexagonal shaped box, so you'll start to see half of a hexagon form. So we're going to tuck that next little tab right underneath and then press down to secure it. And then we can work on the other half of the box. So again, we're going to tuck that little tab underneath and press down. And then we'll work our way to the other side, tucking the small tab underneath, just like that. Once both halves are formed, now we're going to go ahead and tuck that last tab there at the bottom underneath, and that rectangular tab is going to go underneath too. So they're both going inside the box, and you'll see that box starts to form. Then you can take your hand and put it inside of the box and just make sure to press down everything securely. So we're making sure the edges line up, and then that'll pretty much guarantee you that the bottom lines up. And right now we're pressing inside the box to make sure that it's nice and secure. And now your box is formed. You'll see this is actually a really big box. It fits a ton of treats and it's so super cute. Next, we're going to take a look at those little diagonal folds, and we're going to make sure that they're folding pretty well, because this is how we're going to close the box, by overlapping those petals. And right now I'm going to switch to a different box for just a second for a close-up to see how to do that. So what we're going to be doing is layering the petals behind each other. So one petal is going to go behind the other one, and then behind the other one, and so forth. So let's start again. Here we have our petal. We're going to tuck one behind, tuck the next petal behind the other one, grab the next one behind. We'll see we're working around forming this flower. You're just going to kind of manipulate those petals until they're all each behind each other, and then you can press down in the center and you have the cutest little box that's formed. And so now we're going to go back to our really pretty blue box here, and we're going to start layering those petals. And again, you can see how they kind of form together. And that one petal there, the pink petals, were my hands. These are Rebecca's hands in the office, and you can see how someone else does it a little bit differently. So you can just kind of push in the center, and the petals will kind of naturally start to overlap each other just like that. So it kind of works just like that, like magic. So you can kind of see the slow motion one where I layered each petal behind, or you can kind of just make sure the petals are lining up with each other and just press down in the center. So let's try that again. We're going to take the petals apart here, and then we're going to go ahead and close them again. And so to do that, all we're going to do is just start to push in to the center, and you'll see those petals are just going to kind of naturally start to overlap. You can just make sure they're all overlapping each other, and then press down in the center to close the box. Now, I love that this is a big box because you could fill it with a ton of chocolates or different treats. I also like to make internet online gift certificates feel more special by printing them out and putting them in cute boxes, and this would be a perfect box for that. You could also put like a little pair of earrings in here or something. There's so many cute things you could add into this box. And here you can see we're just going to take apart the petals and fill it with Hershey's Kisses, because who doesn't love Hershey's Kisses? Then we can push in towards the center, make sure all of the petals overlap each other, and then press down and secure the box closed and have a perfect little treat to make someone smile. So now that we've made a softer, springier feeling flower, we wanted to show you how you can make more of a tropical feel. And so we're recreating a box by Yanea. Now, one of the really cool things about this flower treat box is that it fits onto a 6x6 pad, which is amazing. And so we're going to die cut the base twice, and then we're going to go ahead and fold along all the score lines that the die created for us, just like we did earlier. And we'll do that for both pieces. Then we're going to die cut the petals and all the decorative details there from some white cardstock, and we're going to be doing some inking. We're going to start off with some mustard seed ink, and we're going to add some ink to the bottom of each of these petals. Then we're going to take some squeezed lemonade and layer that over all of those little decorative pieces too. Next, we're going to take some picked raspberry ink, and we're going to ink all of these petals on the other side, making sure to overlap into the yellow just a little bit. Then once we've inked all of the petals, we're going to go back with that mustard seed color, that nice yellow, and we're going to make sure to add some of that yellow overlapping over the rest of the pink, and that's going to form the orange. So you get this like pink to orange, which is going to be so pretty and give us a really cool tropical feel for this flower treat box. Next, we're going to use some liquid glue to add all of the decorative details onto the petals. And then we're going to layer some tape runner behind each of the petals and add them onto the box. And there's that little embossed line detail that the die creates for you so that you know exactly where to layer those petals on. Next, we're going to be adding some 1/4-inch double-sided tape to the tabs on the box. So we're going to add it to that bottom tab, to those 2 side tabs, and then to the rectangular tab too. And I like to use 3 strips of tape for this. Then on the other piece, we're going to cut off that bottom tab. So we're just doing that on one of these pieces. And then we're going to add more of our 1/4-inch double-sided tape, this time on just 2 bottom tabs there since we cut off the other one. And then we'll add 3 strips onto that side rectangular tab. Then we can go ahead and peel up the liner paper on all of these pieces. Now we're going to start forming the box. We're going to layer one of those rectangular tabs behind the other piece, lining them up just like this to create one long piece. Then we're going to start to form the base. So we're going to be starting to form those halves of the hexagons there. So we're going to layer those little tabs behind that larger tab, and we're just going to line up those pieces just like that. Then we can work our way around the bottom of the box, lining up those smaller tabs behind the larger one at the bottom. Once those two half hexagons are formed, we can layer the whole box together. So that long tab there is going to go underneath, and that rectangular tab is going to go underneath, so that both pieces are adhering inside of the box. Once you line that side one up, the other one will just kind of line up perfectly, and you can press from inside of the box and then outside of the box to make sure that everything is secure. And now your box is formed, and we just need to work on the petals. So we're going to make sure all those little diagonal folds are folded pretty well, and then we can start to press in towards the center of the box, and you can see those petals are going to start overlapping each other. So one is behind the other one, and as they overlap, then you can press down and secure it in place and create the cutest little box with a more tropical summery feel. Now, Yanea added one more detail that we thought was so cute. She used the stitch leaves die, and she die cut 2 of those from some white cardstock, and then we're going to ink them up with some twisted citron and mowed lawn ink. And so we'll add the lighter color towards the top of the leaves and then the darker color towards the bottom, making sure they overlap just a little bit, and then going back and forth between the colors to create a really nice blend. Then we're going to take these leaves and we're going to add a little bit of adhesive towards the bottom of both of these leaves, so just about like the bottom third or so, and then we're just going to tuck them right underneath the flower and attach them onto the box, just like this. And isn't that so cute? I love the look of the leaves on this flower, especially with this more summery feel. And the cool thing is when you do this, the box is going to open up just fine because they're attached to kind of those little tabs there that kind of fold over. So there you can see how the leaves are attached. And then just like before, you can just overlap those petals by pushing in towards the center of the box, push down right in the center to secure it in place. And then here we wanted to show you a comparison between the more springy feel and the more summery feel. I am just in love with this flower treat box, and it just makes me smile so much. Now, next up, we are going to be recreating a card by Audrey that just blew me away. And we're going to be die cutting the largest of the outside in stitched rectangles from some white cardstock. And we are going to be using the brand new butterfly background stencils. This is a 2-step stencil. We're going to use the number 1 stencil, this base piece first. And we're going to be inspired by the colors in that brand new pastel vertical rainbow stripes. And so here we're adding some ballet slippers ink, and we're just going to be going over different parts of this stencil here, just so that the color is coming in from different areas. Then here we're going to use some butter ink and just kind of work that yellow all the way down, making sure some of the yellow and pink overlap to create an orange. Now here we have some moonstone, and we're going to be filling in the blank areas with the moonstone, again making sure some of the pink and the moonstone overlap to create a really purple, pretty color. Now I'm going to go back through in some of these colors, making sure they really overlap nicely. But at this point, I wanted to make sure we had a little bit more purple and a little bit more green. And so to do that, we're going to bring in some fresh lavender and also some Minty Fresh ink. So here we go with the fresh lavender. We're just going to bring in some of the purple just to make it a little bit more bold. And then that way you have a little bit more bold, and then the softer is when those two original colors overlap. I'm going back and forth between the pink and the yellow colors there just to bring it a little bit of a brighter tone. And then we're going to bring in the Minty Fresh. And to me, this is what really makes it look like that washi tape, is just bringing in a little bit of that minty green color. Just looks so pretty on this background. And now we're getting to my favorite part of stenciling, which is going to be the big reveal. So we're going to peel this up, and isn't that so pretty? And it really looks like the washi tape. I love being inspired by colors of different things I'm using on my cards, and a washi tape is a really fun way to be inspired. So I'm going to add a little bit of tape runner on the back just to help hold this on to my little stencil board here, because we're going to be using some paste now. So here's the second step of the stencil, which is these beautiful butterfly details. But instead of doing it with ink, we're going to be doing it with some sparkly paste, which is going to be so awesome. So this is our fairy dust paste, and I'm going to pick it up with a spatula. I'm just kind of mixing it around there because I hadn't used it in a little while. So I gave it a little mix, and now I'm going to pick it up with my spatula and just start spreading it over the stencil. I'm really going to make sure to get it into all of the little details. There's a lot of little details on these butterflies, so you'll see I keep adding more and then just kind of smearing it around, making sure it's a nice thin layer. And when there's a little bit of excess, I just put it right back in the jar, and then I just go back and forth and keep adding it into all the corners and making sure all the little details have a lot of sparkle paste on them. And then here we have the big reveal. So we're going to peel up that stencil and you'll see that beautiful sparkly detail. I love that it's subtle but so shimmery and so pretty. It just feels completely magical. So I set that aside to dry and started working on my sentiment. So here we have our brand new Thinking of You die and also the Thinking of You outline. So we die cut the scripty Thinking of You out of some pixie dust cardstock, which is a white sparkle to go along with our sparkly butterflies. And then the base is just die cut out of some white cardstock. We're going to add liquid glue on there and add all of the cute little letter details. And I love doing this with the sparkle on the white cardstock. It helps the sparkle pop, and I think it's just so pretty and delicate. That background is finally dry, and look how pretty this is. Isn't that just so sparkly and magical and gorgeous? I want to make like 100 of these backgrounds. I'm just in love with it. And here we're going to take out some of our foam squares and foam strips, and we're going to be layering the Thinking of You with some foam strips. The foam strips are really nice for this because there's a nice long area, so we can kind of cover big chunks of it with the foam strips, which is perfect. And then we can layer this whole thing onto our butterfly background. Next, we're going to take out a standard size card base. It's going to be 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to bring out that pastel vertical stripe washi tape. And this is a detail that Audrey does a lot on her cards, and I think it is so cute. She's going to add a strip of the washi tape to the left side of this card base. And so there's just going to be a little bit of it peeking out the side, which is going to be so pretty. So we're going to take this strip here, we're going to line it up with the edge, and then for the top and the bottom, we're actually going to be cutting that with our scissors just so that it has a nice clean edge at the top and the bottom. So we can just trim that off there, and then we can trim it off at the very top. And we use the outside in rectangle for that butterfly background, and that's going to give you a nice little 1/8 inch border on a standard size card. So we're going to add a bunch of foam squares to the back of that panel and then layer that on, and you'll see that the washi tape is going to be peeking out from behind, and the background was inspired by those colors, so it's all going to coordinate in such a pretty way. For a little extra sparkle, we're going to be adding some sequins onto the card. So we're just adding tiny little drops of glue with the glue tube, and then picking up some sequins with the pick up pokey tool and just layering them onto the background just for a little extra sparkle and shine. Then we have these little clay hearts, and so there's a little pink one. We're going to add a tiny little heart there at the bottom just for like an extra cute little detail. And now this card is all done, and isn't that so fun? I love the idea of being inspired by my washi tape and layering it on to my card fronts as well as the insides and envelopes too. Next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team. And first up, we have a beautiful card by Lynette. I love how she layered all of the different pattern papers and also used the brand new floral sprig border. They look so cute together. This flower treat box by Elena is so cute. I love how she also layered some leaves and an adorable little flower center in the middle. It's just so cute and sweet, and I think it would make anyone smile. I love how Grace layered a bunch of the different Blissful Blossom papers with some scalloped ovals on this card. I love how fun and cute those colors are together. This card here by Audrey is so sweet. These floral patterns are perfect for a baby card, and it's just adorable. This is the flower treat box by Yanea that inspired us to make ours. I love how she added that cute little tag too. This card here by Tammy is so pretty. It uses the new I Like Big Butterflies with that beautiful new Blissful Blossoms paper in the background. And then this layout by Melissa is just adorable. I love how she used the cute little seed packet look in combination with our new Build a Wheelbarrow die, and the papers look so pretty together. Here, I love this card by Megan, and I like that she used the vine paper as a background for the butterflies. I think it's so gorgeous. And then here, Lynette used all of the brand new colors of cardstock in such a pretty card. I love the pastel rainbow. This card here by Letitia is so cute and pretty for Easter. I love that these papers are perfect for these spring holidays. And here is the card by Audrey that inspired us to make ours. It is just so pretty and cute. This card here by Elena is just gorgeous, and I love that blue floral paper in the background for her adorable butterflies. And then this card here by Grace is so much fun with our bunny and fox, and that blue floral paper is perfect for this springy card. So we cannot wait to see all of your awesome boxes and pattern paper projects, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!